Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to follow the absolutely incredible journey of a blockchain transaction, all the way from the moment you click send to its final unchangeable home on the ledger.
You hit that button and you might think it's instant, right? Like sending an email or a text. But it's not quite magic. It's actually this fascinating and sometimes pretty complex quest, and your transaction is the hero of the story.
Okay, let's dive right into this journey. The whole point, the entire goal for your transaction is to get permanently etched into the blockchain's history books, to become a part of that immutable record. And believe me, that quest starts in a very crowded place. The second you broadcast your transaction, it doesn't just zip straight over to the blockchain. No, instead, it lands in what you can basically think of as a chaotic digital waiting room. And this is its first big test. Now, what's really wild is that the mempool isn't one single universal place. Every computer, every single node that's part of the network keeps its own version of this waiting room, which means, yeah, what's in my mempool might be slightly different from what's in yours because of network lag. This is a great way to think about it. Imagine the mempool is this massive, overflowing post office sorting room. Your transaction is a letter you just dropped in the box. The gas fee you pay? That's your priority stamp. The miners are the super busy mail sorters, and the blocks, well, they're the mail trucks getting ready to ship out to the blockchain. And let me be clear, this is not an orderly first-come, first-served queue. Oh no, it is a fierce competition. Your transaction is battling it out with thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands of others, all of them screaming to get noticed by the miners and get onto one of those trucks. So, the big question is, how does your transaction get to the front of that massive line? Well, it has to pay the price of passage. It needs a bigger, shinier priority stamp. And that, my friends, is the gas fee. And right here, you have to make a choice, a strategic decision. You can pay a high fee, which is like slapping a first-class postage stamp on there. It'll get picked up almost immediately, but yeah, it's going to cost you more. Or you can go with a low fee, kind of like bulk mail. It's cheaper, for sure, but you're running the risk that your transaction gets stuck for hours, or maybe even dropped completely if things get really crazy on the network. The math behind this is actually pretty simple when you break it down. Every transaction takes a certain amount of computer power to process. That's the gas used. Then you decide on the gas price. That's what you're willing to pay for each little unit of that work. Just multiply those two together, and bam, that's your total fee. All right, so you've paid for your priority stamp, you've attached it, and your transaction is waiting patiently. The next leg of its journey is to actually get chosen from that crowded mempool by a miner or a validator who's putting together the next block. See, miners are driven by economics. Their main goal is to make as much money as possible, and that's absolutely crucial. It's not greed, it's the design that makes the network secure. This powerful financial incentive is what gets thousands of people to lend their computing power and keep the whole thing running. So to get that reward, they follow a really simple, logical process. They're going to pick the juiciest transactions first. And if your fee was high enough, boom, success. Your transaction got picked and packed into a block. This is a huge, huge milestone in its journey. But its quest for total, final security isn't quite over yet. So what does it really mean for your transaction to be confirmed? And why do you sometimes see your wallet show you, one confirmation, then two, then three? This is the final and maybe the most important part of the whole trip. That very first confirmation happens the second its block is successfully added to the chain. At that exact moment, your transaction is officially part of the blockchain's history. It has reached its destination. But here's the thing. Security isn't just a one-and-done event. It's a process. With every new block that gets mined and stacked on top of the block with your transaction, its security gets stronger and stronger. Think of each new block like another heavy lock being added to a vault door, making it exponentially harder for anyone to ever mess with it. This is exactly why, for really high-value transfers, a lot of exchanges will make you wait for 6 or more confirmations. After that many blocks have been built on top, your transaction is considered, for all practical purposes, irreversible. It is final. It's done. But what happens when the journey isn't so smooth? Not every transaction is a hero that succeeds on the first try. Sometimes it can get stuck, facing all kinds of trouble along the way. The number one reason things get stuck is pretty simple. You set a gas fee that's just too low for what's happening on the network. It's like trying to mail a package with a regular stamp during the holiday rush. It's just going to sit there. Another reason could be just insane congestion or even a traffic jam that you caused because one of your own previous transactions is also stuck.
And there are even more sophisticated dangers lurking out there in the mempool. Because it's all public, these malicious bots can sit there and watch for big trades. They can use a tactic called front-running, where they see your transaction, copy it, and then immediately submit their own with a slightly higher gas fee to cut you in line and profit from the price change you are about to cause. It's sneaky stuff.
The good news is you're not totally helpless if your transaction gets stuck. Most modern wallets have tools built in, like Replace by Fee, which lets you basically resubmit the same transaction but with a higher fee to give it a fresh chance. You can also try to cancel it or, just wait it out. Sometimes the traffic dies down and it'll go through on its own. So by understanding this whole journey, from the chaos of the mempool to the final locked-in security of multiple confirmations, you can really go from confusion to confidence. You can actually plan your transactions to be faster, cheaper, and way more reliable. You're not just throwing something into the void and hoping for the best anymore. You're actually guiding it on its quest.